Hey everyone, here's my top 5 albums of January 2024. It was a banger of a month, a banger to start off the year. A lot of excellent albums. So here's my top 5. We're going by dates. First album I have here is Engulfed, The Dying Planet Weeps. This came out in January 12th on Everlasting Spa Records. This is a solo death metal project. The artwork really caught my eye. It was done by Pierre Olofsson. There are there's some distant riffing on here with some progressive elements. It really reminds me of a Job for a Cowboy, which isn't a bad thing. Like the new Job for a Cowboy, like their last album, Sun Eater and stuff, which is more of a progressive death metal style. That's what it really reminded me of. Plague Oblivion is probably my favorite track on this album. Next album I have here is, of course, Saxon, Hellfire and Damnation. This was released on January 19th. This is the band's 24th studio album by these heavy metal legends. It's 42 minutes of awesome heavy metal glory. This band never disappoints. Biff never disappoints. And this album just doesn't disappoint at all. Hellfire and Damnation deserves to be on here. I think this is going to be on a lot of people's top 10 lists at the end of the year. Next album I have here is Recent Tomb, Cerebral Purgatory. This was released on January 19th on Transcending Obscurity Records. Again, this is dissident, blackened death grind. That's how I like to describe it. The best way to describe this album is just look at the artwork, which was done by Mitchell Nolt. Look at the artwork. This is how this album sounds like. So again, feel like death grind with some blackened and some dissident riffing going on. Listening to this album. Again, it kind of reminds me of, has elements of like Burnt by the Sun with more grindcore elements to it. Just give this album a listen. Next album I have here is Blood Red Throne, Nonagon. This came out on January 26th on Soul Cellar Records. These kings of the Norwegian death metal released their 11th studio album. And this is a really good death metal album. Very consistent throughout the whole album. Great vocals by Cinder Rethen, who took over vocal duties in 2023. His guttural vocals are amazing. His highs are vicious as well. This album has its moments of mid-tempo death metal, but they do kick it to high gear as well. Some killer songs on here are Epitaph Inscripted, Split Tongue Sermon, and Blade Eulogy. If you haven't checked out this album, if you love your death metal, check this album out. Next album I have here is The Simulator, Low Form of Resistance. This was released on January 26th on 20 Buck Spin. This is a 3-piece band from Montreal, Quebec. This is like technical death metal with the splashes of Voivod. Some killer songs on here are Neutral Hack, Warped, and Cybermorphian / Mainframe. If you haven't checked this album out, if you like technical death metal, if you like Voivod, check this album out. So those are my top 5 albums of the month. I did check out a couple other albums. One album is Caligula's Horse, Charcoal Grace. Really good album. If you like textures, I think the band just released their, I think the 6th studio album. So again, if you like progressive metal, if you like textures or Tesseract mostly. They mostly sound like Tesseract. But if you like bands like that, you'll definitely love this album. Some albums that I'm looking forward to in February, just name a few here, is Holder versus in Oath on February 9th on 20 Buck Spin. You gotta listen to everything on 20 Buck Spin. And also another killer label is Transcending Obscurity is another killer record label, which is releasing Eternal Storm, a giant bond to fall, which is coming out February 16th. Another killer album that's coming out is Job for a Cowboy, Moon Eater, on February 23rd on Metal Blade. Another album that I'm looking forward to is Darkest Hour, Perpetual Terminal on February 23rd as well on MNRK Records. So that's my top 5. That's some albums I'm looking forward to in February. And remember, everybody, metal never dies.